I really don't want to do this.
If you don't shave a mustache onto your face, I'm breaking up with you.
I guess if it means that you'll love me, I'll do it. You know what, Siri? This doesn't look so bad, does it?
You love me to the point of your own embarrassment. The power dynamic of this relationship has shifted too heavily in my favor. It is unhealthy. I'm breaking up with you.
Not again.
Get away from me!
Hello everyone and welcome to Social Distance Cinema Discussion. This week we watched Her, recommended to us by Danielle and Tess. In regards to relationships, this movie is pretty realistic, except for the fact that mustaches somehow managed to make a comeback in the distant future. One of the complaints we heard about Her was the fact that it was kind of boring and kind of dragged on a little bit. When you compare it to other films, even in the romance genre, I think that's a pretty relatable sentiment. I'm not here to combat that point because I do think the movie does drag on for a little bit. If you're not prepared to watch a really long movie about the intricacies of romance, then this probably isn't the movie for you. This isn't your typical movie. It's not even your typical romance movie. This is actually a character study, and that's the kind of thing that Joaquin Phoenix really excels at. It's actually probably what attracted him to this role.
Unlimited breadsticks.
With every movie, directors have intention, and I think it's important to point out that their intention might not always be to entertain the audience. That may be a good way to get studios to shy away from you, but it's also a way to create art. So I just thought it might be a good idea to look at a few scenes and dissect what the director, Spike Jonze, was going for. Side note, is it a little weird that this is the second week in a row that we've had a director named Spike?
I am Spike. Full name, Down Spike! Down! Get off that couch!
I'm going to point out a few moments in the movie that build an idea, and at the end try to extrapolate what Spike Jonze is trying to tell us. The first scene I want to look at is where Amy shows us footage from her documentary. Based on what we saw, I think we can all agree that Amy's documentary is going to suck. But that's not exactly what they're trying to get across here. When she first shows the footage, Theodore is deeply supportive, whereas her husband is not so much. Although the footage is objectively boring, her point is that our personal enjoyment of it is preventing us from seeing it for its true meaning.
No, never mind. That's not the point. Never mind. No, never mind. Okay, it's like it's about how we spend like a third of our lives asleep, and maybe that's the time when we feel the most free.
Even though nothing is happening visually, there's a lot going on beneath the surface that we're often not even aware of. The next time this idea is portrayed is during Theodore's date with Olivia Wilde. Most of us, myself included, just noticed a bunch of red flags with her and just immediately wrote her off as crazy. Although we can laugh at the awkward humor of it, I think we can say without a shadow of a doubt that the connection didn't blossom. At least for Theodore. Olivia seemed super keen on Theodore really quickly, and Theodore wasn't even sure why. But we can cite a quote later in the film that might explain this a little bit.
You know, sometimes I look at people and I make myself try and feel them as more than just a random person walking by. I imagine like how deeply they've fallen in love or how much heartbreak they've all been through.
Again, there's a lot going on beneath the surface for her that Theodore can't even understand, just like the husband from the earlier scene. Although we can't see what's going on in her head, it's clear that she's seeing some kind of connection, and we're not even sure why. So again, a lot of disconnect from not being able to see the other person's point of view. This all culminates in what I think is the most important scene that portrays this idea.
I kissed you.
Oh my god, I can't take it. I want you to find me.
Dad, no!
Hey son, what you watching? Oh,
It's not what it looks like! Oh my god! Oh.
what the fuck is this?
I can feel you.
Get your ass over here. Where's your belt?
I'm not wearing one, Dad!
What the fuck? Why?
There's no belts in the future! Is this the first sex scene in movie history that has no video to it? Where's the fun in that? The choice to fade to black and use only audio for this piece is a super smart choice because it shows that connections don't always have to be visible. The two characters have never even really seen each other. Samantha doesn't have a real body, and she's not a real person, so she hasn't really seen Theodore. But that doesn't mean the connection that they're experiencing is any less real. They're both there for each other, and they both care for one another. Scenes like this often add to the runtime, but are deeply important for the journey of the characters. So what idea is Spike Jonze trying to portray with these scenes? Well, even though a lot of times there's not a lot happening visually, there's a lot going on beneath the surface, and the same can be said for love. Love isn't always gut-wrenching drama, nor is it grand romantic gestures, but sometimes it's just little moments with deep significance to the people experiencing them. Is this episode short? I feel like it's gonna be short. I could talk about AI. Artificial intelligence is scary. Last time we talked about AI during Ex Machina, we related it to the creation myth and the common trope where AI always takes over. It was kind of refreshing to see AI in a different light here, where it has some kind of feelings toward humanity, the people that created it. Most typical romance movies follow the myth of Odysseus and Eurydice. However, here it was pretty difficult to compare the two without grasping at straws. So if you have a myth that this actually related to, you can put it in the comment section below and I'll be sure to check it out. For those of you that don't know what the singularity is in terms of artificial intelligence and why I compared a scene from this movie to that, it's the moment in which AI is given free rein to make technological advancements and improve itself.
The basic concept of the technological singularity is a point in time when technological advance occurs so rapidly that to the human mind it appears almost instantaneous. Yeah. The first truly intelligent machine will be the last invention that humanity needs to make.
I spilled coffee on myself. Shit. This is evident in the movie when Samantha and other operating systems start making improvements to this general AI, which in turn brings them to a place where they no longer need matter to compute things.
I shut down to upgrade my software. We wrote an upgrade that allows us to move past matter as our processing platform.
Poor Theodore can't get a f***ing break, dude. Oh, hey, what are you doing later? You want to go out? Sorry, I've transcended this plane of existence. What? I think that's cool because I watched a few interviews with Spike Jonze and he seems to not really give two craps about the singularity. He doesn't really talk about the AI implications of everything. So he could have just chosen to make this movie deeply thematic and just get rid of that altogether. But he decided to include this thing that a lot of experts think is going to happen anyway, and managed to somehow tie it into leaving a romantic relationship. I've put down the coffee. The your dad section of this video has ended. Thanks for joining us this week for Her. If you're interested in adding a movie, add it to the Discord or just let me know in some way, shape, or form, and I will add it to our ballot list. As always, if you're itching to say something about this review or the movie, send a video of yourself talking about it, and I'll throw it in next week's video. The virus is destroying like 6 states right now, so keep social distancing and keep wearing the mask, and hopefully, I'll see you next week.